the best reason to leave the church and not leave it alone? I think I found it. It's probably hidden in plain sight. This is the explanation you've been looking for. Yeah, I'm talking about like any Mormon who thinks of themselves as just like, ho hum, I'm just practicing my religion. Why does everyone want to persecute me? I'm a conservative, I'm principled, I'm small government, I'm a libertarian. Or anyone who thinks of themselves as like, I'm an ally. I'm like a faithful Latter-day Saint, but I'm cool, all right? How the church begs to interfere, though. How the church begs to interfere in people's lives who have never heard of it, but are still governed by it, okay? So a few weeks ago, I was thinking about how there's a pro-LDS TikTok account who made this video about how just beautiful it is. And these wild times where gay marriage is dividing everybody, we have the man, Elder Oaks, to lead the church. I've been studying Mormonism a lot, and I just pulled myself out of the sickest rabbit hole that even made me cry. So buckle in, okay? So Elder Oaks graduated from law school in 1957, served under Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren, then became president of BYU, church-owned school, from 71 to 1980. Then served as Utah Supreme Court Justice from 80 to 84. And what happened in 84? He resigned from that position to be called as an apostle for the Mormon Church. And just what I want to say next, just so it doesn't go over your head today, I want to tell you every type of Mormon on every political leaning and spectrum just needs to know exactly who their highest, most spiritual leaders are. So August 7th, 1984, Oaks immediately starts formulating a legal defense for the church's stance against homosexuality and gay marriage. And as we know, it's been like his pet project all the way up till today. So the principal paper is called Principles to Govern Possible Public Statement on Legislation Affecting Rights of Homosexuals. It's basically a lawyer who is also an apostle counseling the other top leader of the church on the best strategy to condemn homosexuals in society. Just to summarize, that, gays, they get a lot of sympathy and that pulls at the heartstrings. So the best way to keep them at bay from influencing society, demonize them, that they're corrupting children and they should be seen as a threat, make them seem unsafe as coaches and as teachers. So as we know, cases are filed every day in the U.S., just cases flying all around. Other parties can submit briefs called amicus briefs, right? So that means friend of the court. And if you can prove that the outcome of the case affects you directly, you can file an amicus brief. So Bear versus Lewin in 1991, Hawaiian court enters the scene. October 1991, the church, that's when they first get the idea that same-sex marriage might be legal in Hawaii. And they've got a temple there, and they've got a stronghold there, and they're invested. So the church writes this thing called the Standards of Morality and Fidelity statement about traditional family to prove that they have a right to file an amicus brief. And then the case goes up and down through the Hawaiian Supreme Court from trial court, and it takes many years. And the church files many of these friend of the court briefings on this gay marriage case, okay? So the church had failed to show that they would be directly affected, though, up to this point. So they start funding lobbyists, and they go round and round in the court. And then in February 1995, the court denied again because they haven't showed a clear-cut case. So October 1985, General Conference is coming up, and they scramble, and they write the proclamation to the family and present it to the courts. And then they realize that all they had to do is just show something that says strictly that it's from their God, is a proclamation as big as they can that their God is against gay marriage and that gay people are not part of God's plan for the family. So the proclamation of the family is just pro-family enough, but not too anti-gay, with language that they take from the Standards of Morality and the proclamation, all about like renewing our commitment to traditional marriage, and like reaffirmation is like a big key phrase that they put in there. And they introduce it as if Mormons had always been into like this monogamous traditional ideal of marriage. More on that later. So anyway, where does President Hinckley in 1995, where does he want to introduce this? This is an interesting side quest, but stick with me. So the brethren ask all of the women who are about to give talks around this is too good to be true, around the theme of diversity. Scrap their talks in the Relief Society General Presidency meeting. Change it to be all about traditional family so that the meeting can end with Hinckley reading the proclamation on the family, and make sure that all the messages about, like non-traditional families that the sisters had written, like that those wouldn't conflict, okay? The church is putting out the proclamation to the family to be like, look how anti-gay marriage we are. Look how pro-family we are. As a matter of fact, we're going to tell all of the sisters who are about to give talks in the Relief Society General Presidency to scrap all of their talks about diversity in favor of what we want to do. And literally, is a secret recording. And another interview, it's insane. You will not believe me. It's true, though. Of the first and second counselors in the Society General Presidency, saying that that they would have liked to get their hands on the Proclamation of the Family because they would have made a few changes. And like, hey, like, aren't women supposed to be part of the family? Like, why weren't we consulted at all in this proclamation on the family? They're literally quoted on saying it's like the brethren get so busy that they forget what they're doing and they forget about us. More evidence that like the church will inconvenience anyone as long as it's not the brethren, and it's definitely the women. So finally, so the Catholic and the Mormon lobbyists working under a group called Save Traditional Marriage in 98 push a ban on same-sex marriage. And in 1999, same-sex marriage was found unconstitutional in Hawaii. The LDS Church, all the way up until, 2013, until the U.S. Supreme Court ruling, okay? So the LDS Church Proclamation on the Family was then read into official records on the U.S. House of Representatives November 17th, 1995, 4 days after the prophet met with President Clinton. Get out of our politics. Stay at home, okay? Used in dozens of court cases around the world whenever, gender roles and abortion is brought up, same-sex marriage. So when church leadership and members say, like, leave our poor church alone, we're just trying to be in a religion over here, get out of the laws that affect the rights of other normal Americans who wish Mormons would mind their business. When church leaders they were showing off, it's unbelievable. There's so much more I could say. They go to the UN, they're showing off the Proclamation on Traditional Family and Marriage, like as if this is what we've always believed in. You're full of shit. Like, good God, like your own church's background doesn't support that claim. Elder Oaks, who's saying this about how marriage is about procreation, he himself got married as an old man. Okay, about the idea that marriage is about fidelity to one spouse. The church, the Mormon church is saying that. It's founded on Joseph Smith taking 22 wives to be sealed to him that he got busy with before he even told his wife Emma, doing that behind her back. Your own church history doesn't support that. And then you have just the LDS Church pushing this political dynamite based on its stupid, backwards assumption that queerness is something that you can overcome and should be demonized for the betterment of society, all with blood on its hands. Mormons, if this is your next prophet, it's a lawyer. It's a lawyer whose pet peeve has been going on since he was a judge to apostle to take away the rights of gay people. He is a lawyer. He is not a disciple of any Christ that I'm familiar with. And if you call him your next prophet, if you call him your next mouthpiece of God, prepare to just look like a sheep. Good